So, what is the difference between those who are successful and those who are not? Well, I'll tell you. The difference is that successful people take action. Now, that doesn't seem overly complicated. However, it really can be difficult to take action. And besides, if it was easy, then everybody would do it effortlessly and everybody would say that they are successful. But that's not the case. So, let's start at the beginning. The first manifestation step. When we think about something that we want to achieve, we firstly are thinking about it, visualizing it, and then we shift into planning for it. Now, this is always how it begins. But the problem is that many of us get stuck here at the beginning and we don't progress into the action step. And so it can even feel like we are making progress, but ultimately, until we actually take action, nothing really, well, just nothing changes. And so I'll give you an example. Earlier this year, I wanted to travel to Vancouver Island. And so I was thinking about it. I was thinking what I would do there, who I was going to see. And then I even went onto my laptop and started browsing potential dates, air tickets, and the different prices. But however, until I actually made my purchase, booked my ticket, and made that commitment, only then is something actually happening. Otherwise, it's really just daydreaming. And so it's important to ask ourselves, well, what is our block, our personal block to taking action? Back then, with my trip to the island, I realized that I needed to share my travel idea with those around me. I needed to discuss this with other people so that they were aware that I would be away and such. And I noticed that that was holding me back from taking action because there was a bit of fear around how this information would be received, fear of judgment, fear of rejection. Whether these fears are rational or not, it doesn't really matter because the fact is that they are there. And so, to address something like that, first of all, we need to become aware of it. So that's number one. But then we need to address it. So with this example that I just shared with you, I think what can be helpful is reciting some of the fear truths. And I'm going to share a few with you now. There's 5 of them, but I'll just share a few. So they go like this. The fear will never go away as long as I continue to grow. The only way to get over the fear of doing something is to get out and do it. And the only way to make me feel better about myself is to go out and do it. So that's 3 of them. And you can see how powerful these reminders are, that you need to face this in order to overcome it. That's really the only way. So you just got to push through and get it done. I'd love to share another quick example with you that illustrates a different block towards taking action. Again, earlier this year in the spring, I wanted to participate in a farmer's market as a vendor. And so my product I had not previously sold at markets before. And so I naturally had some self-doubts about whether I was going to be accepted into this market. So I was filling in the really lengthy application, and part of that asked about social media handles, and of course I didn't have any. I better quickly develop at least an Instagram page, because that most likely is going to increase my chances of getting accepted. So I delayed my application process a bit there, but in the end I decided to submit my application and not worry that I didn't have any social media pages, and I just went ahead with it, took that risk and just did it. And I got accepted, and it was so much easier and effortless than I expected. I was so intimidated for no reason and worried, but thank goodness I took action and I didn't allow those doubts to prevent me from actually submitting and then having this wonderful experience. And this is really an example or a warning of perfectionism paralysis. We want to be perfect, and this really stops us from moving forward. But it's so important to not fixate on getting everything right before taking action. You just got to go ahead and do it, because again, that's what separates those who are enjoying success and those who are still just waiting around. So again, once we have identified what is it in this situation that is holding me back and is delaying me from taking action, once we've identified that, we can address it, and then we can take action and actually pursue our success. And now, even though that is truly the hardest part, it's not as if all obstacles and challenges end once you've taken action. As you embark on this journey, there will be challenges that will try and knock you off your path. And so, my advice at that point is to remind yourself to be grateful. And so let me explain this a little bit further. For example, when I was doing my farmers markets, there was a time a couple days before one of my market days that I opened the packaging of some of my bags that I was using for my product, and to my surprise, these bags were way smaller than they usually are. And I was like, I must have ordered the wrong thing, or maybe I received the wrong size. I discovered that they actually permanently discontinued the bag size that I was usually using, and I didn't realize that it just automatically selected a different size for me. And so I was a bit stressed, because it meant that I needed to really reconsider my pricing, because these bags were so small that even if I added this, like squeezed in the same quantity, it looked so much smaller that I thought people might feel like they're getting ripped off or something, even though it's the same amount. But I was just like, oh god, this is a lot to figure out right now. It's really unexpected. But then I reminded myself, if I didn't have this opportunity, I wouldn't have this problem. Yet I am so grateful that I have this opportunity, and therefore I'm grateful that I have this problem also. I would much rather have this problem than not have this opportunity. And so that just really shifts one's perspective, and it energizes one to keep pursuing down your path and to not want to give up or become overly overwhelmed. So that's all I really have to say for now. And just once again, remember to take action. Think about what you want to achieve and then really go for it. Take that risk and set your doubts aside. Thank you so much for listening today, and I hope this was helpful, and I wish you good luck on your endeavors.